In this video, we will cover the next part of the microprocessor, that is nothing but the types of parameters. Before going to this topic, we will overlook some important points. That is, what is the parameter? The names passed in the opening closing round bracket are nothing but the parameters. So, parameters used in macro definitions are called as the formal parameters, and they always start with the ampersand sign. What you have to keep in mind that always the parameters written in this round bracket are always start with the ampersand, and they are nothing but the formal parameters. The parameters used in the macro call are nothing but the actual parameters, means definition parameters are the formal parameters, and at the time of call they are the actual parameters. Okay, and the formal parameters always start with the ampersand sign, and at the time of expansion of the call the formal parameters are replaced by the actual parameters. Every macro should be defined before the main program. Before writing the main program, the macro should be defined. Parameters are nothing but the arguments, means there is a supplementary name. Formal parameters are also called as a dummy parameters or the false parameters. And actual parameters are also called as a dummy parameters, but they are true parameters. Means formal and actual both are dummy parameters. Okay, but formal is a true parameter, false parameter, and actual is the true parameter. The formal parameters means the first type, that is the definition having the formal parameters, and these formal parameters are having the three types, that is the positional parameters, keyword parameters, and label parameters. So there are three types of parameters, and that are, first is nothing but the positional, second is nothing but the keyword parameters, and third is nothing but the label parameters. So we will study them one by one. First is the positional parameter. Keep in mind about this that positional parameters always start with the ampersand sign, and it is defining operand field of a macro. What is next? The actual parameters of the macro call on macro using positional parameters is simply the ordinary string. Means the actual parameters which are in the calling section on the macro using the positional parameter is nothing but the ordinary string. The value of the first actual parameter of a macro call is assigned to first positional formal parameter defining operand field of a macro. For example, there is a parameter like ampersand A, ampersand B, ampersand C, and there is a method like add. And when you are calling add and giving x, y, z, then the value of first actual parameter replaces the A, y replaces the B, and z replaces the C. So this is the actual mapping. Then similarly, means the first is replaced with the first formal, second is with the second, and so on up to n it will happen. For demonstrating it, we will take a simple example to show how it actually performs. We have to write the macro. Okay, every macro starts with the macro. Then we have to write, for example, function name, that is the macro name, add. Then you have the four positional parameters, that is the P, Q, R, S. Then what you have to do? You have to actually add these four three parameters, and you have to store it in a S. For that, you will first of all in register know the value of ampersand P. Then add remaining with it, that is the add A register Q, and then again add A register R. As the addition is completed of the three variables, you have to move it into the another variable, that is the move a register ampersand as the value stored in s. Okay. Then here is a macro in. Then how to call the macro? For example, here we will call macro like add and passing the value like a, b, c, d. Means actually the value of a, b, c, d are assigned to p, q, r and answer is stored into the d. And again, if you do the call like add e, f, g, h, then the actual values of EFGH are passed to PQR and S value is copied into the H as the final value. So positional parameters are always used at the place of operand. Here it is a operand 2. Means for example, this is the actual procedure. This is the register place and it is the operand place. So it is always placed into the operand 2. Value of positional parameter should not be a keyword. Means it is rather than the keyword because keyword having their special meaning in terms of a mechanism. Continuing with the next, we will take another type of a parameter